Hi and welcome back. You are now on the second to last video of this series on the art of resilience, right? Resilience, again, is our capacity to move through the difficult times and create what we want in our life, because life goes fast, it's very short, and it is definitely a gift. So you're probably thinking now, okay, Danny, last homework you gave me was to really sit and imagine the future state of my life. What's it going to be like when I'm healthier? Let's get that. What's going to be like with finances? What's going to be like when some of these relationships are healed? What's going to be like when I get a new job, or I get that promotion, or I make some changes in my career? Now what you got to do is you got to systematize that, because you're probably thinking, well, what do I do now with this, right? It just can't be this movie rolling around in my head all the time. What do I do with it? Well, here's the thing. Where a lot of people come up short when they're doing work on themselves is they go out and they get some information that's good information, but they don't systematize it. And by that I mean you got to get that, and you got to make it real, you got to make it tangible, you got to put it somewhere where you're going to see it a whole lot, because you get what you focus on, right? Focus is the concentration of attention or energy on something. We're always focused. The question of what is it? What are we focused on? So we have to systematize it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through something, an exercise that I learned back in 2006 or 7. I was getting my coaching certification out at the Hudson Institute in Santa Barbara, a wonderful organization founded by Pam McLean and her late husband, Frederick McLean. They got a great book called Life Launch. Life Launch. It's published some time ago, but I think it's timeless. It's just great content. So check that out if you want to get some resources. It's really good for us to kind of seek support. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to read you some of my vision for this year that we're in right now. Now, when you write the vision, here's the exercise. You're writing a letter back to yourself from a future state. So if I sit here, let's say it's January 1st or whatever, and I go of 2020, I'm going out to December 31st of 2020. And I'm putting myself in that time, and I'm telling and I'm writing everything that happened from January 1st out. So it's almost like a movie trailer. So as you've done your imagination, you think, okay, Danny, this needs to happen in my health. This needs to happen in my career. You're talking about the what needs to happen. Now you put it into a story form and you say, yes, this is what happened and here's how it happened. You've got to talk about the process, right? Because again, you're going to get what you focus on. So I'm going to read you some of my letter right now for this year. And mine is this. Dear Danny, and I'm working in the year 2020. 2020 was a wonderful year, even with loss and difficult times that I now know as part of this journey. I grew in my faith, attending daily mass often and reading and prayer. I had a wonderful 2-day retreat right after New Year's. It was great to disconnect, to reconnect. It's just become more important for me. I was consistent with my daily meditation and my journaling. It's so valuable for my focus and my trust on this journey and in dealing a lot with the BS in the world. So you can see one of the things I wanted to do was grow in my faith. And now how did you do it? Mass, journaling, prayer, retreats, right? You got to talk about how you did it. And then I've got some visions in there for my children. We have 3 children. So I text them every year. You can't talk to them. They got to text them. And I say, hey, you guys, if you 2 boys and a girl, Luke, Joey, and Lizzie, if you have a really good year, what does that look like? And then they text me over their vision and I put it into mine so I can keep an eye on what they're up to so I can support them. That's my most important job on the planet, right? Being a dad, being a good dad. So more of my vision now, if you look here, let's see what I've got. I think I've got a little piece on the business and finances. So it says, Lisa, my wife, Lisa and I continue to focus on the kids and ourselves. We were able to pay an extra amount of money, I put a figure in there, on the line of credit and on the mortgage. With the kids out of the house for over a year now, we've been sure to focus on one another and our relationship. The summer was good. Since Lizzie was at the beach, I spent a lot more time down there and just commuted back to the airport. Here's the business side. The Jackrabbit business had our best year yet, doubling revenue to X number. I attribute this to the focus I put on my brand, working with Elise, Brittany, Carrie, LaShawn, and others to support my growth. I also hired a virtual assistant to relieve me of some of the administration. My strategy of shifting from workshops to keynotes worked well, leveraging my national speakers membership and working with some other folks to get more keynote gigs. In January, we relaunched my first book. It's called Back to Heaven's Front Porch. We rebranded it, called Back to Life, and we sold over 10,000 copies. I also released 2 online workshops, Back to Life, based on the Jackrabbit principles, and a productivity one for Outlook users. We also sold the Jackrabbit ALS t-shirts. We're supporters of ALS, and for every t-shirt we sell, $5 goes to that. I also had some great travel to Aruba, Hawaii, and Europe. We got a partner for the Jackrabbit screenplay. I also began to work on the screenplay for I Met Jesus for a Miller Lite. That's my 3rd book. And we'll hire a screenwriter to go. I read an average of 2 books per month, read my daily emails, and listened to at least 1 podcast per week. Mom and Dad are doing okay and getting old. I'm thankful to have them and have continued to increase my visits, seeing them at least 3 times a month. We all had a blast at Kathleen and Dan's wedding. I keep my support network, Trish, Michael, Joe, and Pat, very, very close. I make sure that I see some certain people in my life 3 times a month. And then a few of us hit Vail for some days of skiing. We also attended our buddy Nick's golf tournament, and we went to the Breeders' Cup again in Keeneland. Health-wise, what's your health-wise? Tell me your story about health-wise. For me, it says, okay, I stayed right around this weight. I practiced moderation with alcohol and food and those kinds of things. Did the Broad Street run in Philadelphia in May, and a couple other ones down the beach, about 6 altogether. So if you see there, it's just, I'm reading to you the story of what happened in Danny's life with his career and with his family and with his faith and with his health and with his fun and his travel and his relationships and his friendships. I kind of sit there and I say, if I have a really good year, what does that look like? Now, as you write this, here's a couple things. Number 1, watch the thoughts and the mindset. Don't sit there and go, oh my gosh, I don't know about this. Is it going to work? It's got to be realistic. I don't know if I can do this. Am I doing it right? Would Danny say this is right? This feels so weird. Just dismiss those and write your story. You want to write the what you're going to achieve and how you're going to get there. You also want to write it in past tense. Notice that mine was written in past tense. And here's why. How many of you love marking things off? Yeah, you're all probably raising your hand and laughing. How many of you do something that's not on your list? You go over and write it down just so you can put a line through it. You're going, yeah, I did it. Of course. Because that wonderful chemical of dopamine is released for us and we go, yeah, now I'm rolling. So here's the thing. Many of you right now, I say from my heart, where you are right now, you don't have a gap created to that future. There's no gap. So if you believe the mind loves completion and it loves closing gaps through focus and action, right? Keyword action, right? Then what you got to do is you just got to create a gap from where you are right now to where you're going to be. And you can see that's what I did in there. Past tense. So what you want to do is you want to write this story as if it already happened before it does, so it will. Before it happened, so it does, and it will. You got it? So have a little bit of fun with that. That's your homework for this. Go ahead and get that down. All right? Grab a pen, put on some music or whatever, and just kind of relax and say, if I have a really good year, Danny, this is what it looks like. Just pretend like you're talking to me a year from now. And I say, hey, how was your year? And you go, Danny, it was great. I'm like, oh, tell me about it. What are you going to say? That's it. So until our next video, we'll have one more where I'll give you the key to all of this. Go ahead and share this if you think this is an exercise that one of your friends, family members, coworkers might enjoy. Right? A lot of inspiration, a lot of focus comes out of this. And then also go ahead and connect with me down there and join, register to see my podcast. I am blessed to get some wonderful people on my podcast that will plant seeds of inspiration for you. It's called Back to Life, right? And the whole branding of Back to Life is where, now I literally came back to life, and only about 5% of the people report having an experience like that. So you're going, well, that doesn't relate to me. Yep, it does. Every day you open your eyes, your feet hit the floor, you're back to life. So questions to answer. What am I up to? How am I doing it? That's what we're talking about. See you on the next video.